G'day, well here we are for the second part of how to handle a deer cape and head skin. In the first episode we had a fallow stag and we've caped it out. So in this episode we're going to show how to remove the head skin from the deer for taxidermy. We've done up the back of the neck, the dorsal cut all the way down, we've removed the cape. So now we're going to do a wide cut from the end of the cut at the back of the skull, just about where the little cowlick is, although these haven't got a real cowlick. We're going to cut to each pedicle in a Y shape to remove that, and then we're going to remove the skin around the antlers, and then we'll start working on the rest of it. Okay, so we've got the Y cut, and by the way this is a chittle deer, it's not a fallow deer. A nice one by the way. We've done a Y cut up to the right into the bottom of the coronets, right up in there tight, and that's the start of it. And now we're going to skin around the coronets, coming from underneath so you don't cut any hair, and then we'll start working on the ear butts. Okay, so we've got halfway around the coronets. We've started removing the hair from around the coronets, and to go any further you've really got to cut through the ear butts, so we'll do that next. Cut through the ear butts so that we can start pulling the skin down on the face. Okay, so here we've got the ear butts. Now there's a muscle connecting the ear because the deer move their ears backwards and forwards, so you've got to stick fairly close to the skull, and we'll cut through the ear butt. And you'll see when you get through it, because you see the ear hole, you don't want it, doesn't matter if you leave a bit of meat on these because we're going to remove this later. As you can see we're just cutting back through looking for, you'll see the ear canal come up. There we go, that's it there. So we're just going to remove that.
And that's just to make it easier to get the skin off from around the coronets, isn't it?
Yep. We're staying close to the skull though. Doesn't matter if you leave a bit of meat on here, we're going to remove all that later. Okay, so we'll remove the ear butt. I'm going to show you the ear butt hole and cutting around the antler burr. So you can see there we've removed the ear butt with all the meat on it. That's the ear. Remove the ear butt, there's the ear butt hole. We've cut it nice and close to the skull. Now we're just going to slowly work our way around the antler burr. So okay, now you can cut underneath, you just got to be careful to stick close to the bone and not cut any hair, that's the main bit, because that's all we use to hide it in the final mount.
So you just follow the bone of the pedicle along,
just
going up the antler, yeah.
And there's the start of the eye socket there, so we'll start to do the eye in a minute, but we'll just work our way around this for a start. Okay, so we've done the ear butts, you can see the ear canal. We've caped down below the coronets. They're nice and clean, they come off really good. Now we're at the eyeball. Now the eye is a critical place in the cape because you don't want to cut around the eye, around the skin, because it's very hard to repair without showing where you've done it. So you've got to be fairly careful because we've got to keep some eye skin to tuck into the eye when we remount the deer. So you put your finger in the eye so you can feel the eyeball, pulling the skin back.
Being careful not to cut yourself, of course.
Being careful not to cut yourself, and cutting as close to the bone as you can. We're going down, we're actually cutting through the eye skin, we're saving the eye, some of the eye skin, and you'll see as you go, I've got my finger there as a guide. We're going through we're saving all that skin, and we're bringing it slowly, working everything down as we go, so you can get to it. Excuse me. And just work it down as you go along, keeping what you can see my finger there. That's a great guide. We've got to keep all this eye skin on the inside because we're going to keep some of that to tuck.
That's just to tuck into the form when you're mounting it?
Tuck into the form, but you don't want to, this is a critical spot, you don't want to cut. And then as we get towards the front of the eye, you get into the gland at the front of the eye. So we're going to show you how to do that as well in a minute. Okay, so we've removed the eye skin. You can see the inside eye skin there. We've saved all that for the so we'll thin that out and split it later and save some of the skin. And here we've got the preorb, the gland. It's a waxy gland that the deer use for scenting marking their territory. They rub it on trees and stuff, but it goes fair way back into the skull, so you've got to be careful when you cut it. Excuse me. So you keep your knife. You can actually use a screwdriver to do this as well, if you want to, but if you're careful and you cut, keeping close to the bone.
That's the most important bit, isn't it? As long as you stick really close to the bone.
You cut close to the bone. You don't worry about trying to keep it away from the meat. Just cut it close to the bone, work it down as you go. And you can actually, at this point, lever it off with a screwdriver if you want to. But I'm being very careful and cutting actually into the bone. And we're going to remove it. And this isn't a bad little knife for it, actually. So you can see I'm putting pressure on it with my other hand, pulling the skin away as I go, and very carefully removing it. We just about got it done, and there we go. That's the that's the pre-orb gland there, and we've saved without cutting a hole. If you do cut a hole, you can repair it. That's quite repairable, but the pace, if you can help it not to. We've done both eyes because you've got to keep working the skin down as you go. We're getting towards where I'll show the lips, but that's the eye done and the pre-orb on one side. So as you can see here, we've removed all the skin. We're working down towards the mouth, the lips. So what we've got to do is you want to keep all the lip skin on the deer because the taxidermist uses that to tuck inside the form. So when you come to the deer, everyone does it a little bit, a lot of people do it differently. You keep as much lip skin as you can. We cut around the bottoms of the lips as far back in from this side as we can, keeping as much lip skin. And that goes all the way, don't worry about it having any meat. We'll do the same with the bottom lip. We'll cut back into as far as we can reach there, and then we'll peel the skin back. And you can see there's a muscle, there's the back of the teeth there. So what you do is you stretch it out, cut through that, and you can see the teeth start to appear just there. And we'll trim that up in a minute, but from there we'll just work it all forward until we get down. Okay, so we've done the bottom lip and cut right close to the bone, right up as far as we can, so we've saved all the lip skin, which is good. You can see it there. We'll scum down the chin. Now we're going to skin around the top of the, not too far because we've got to remove the nose in a minute. We're going to skin right around the top of the teeth, saving the lip skin, and then we'll work it down and we'll cut from the inside. Okay, so we've cut all the lip skin off. Save the lip, there's the bottom lip, there's the nose. When we cut the nose, we want to make sure we don't cut inside the nostrils. Anywhere where there's hair, don't cut. So we've got to remove all that carefully. So we've cut the lips. A bit gory, I know, but that's part of taxidermy and hunting. So we'll go down a bit. If you don't like blood sports or hunting, or don't watch. But we're cutting down now. Well, we can see that. We're getting down to the nose cartilage. This is about where you cut through the nose cartilage to remove the nose. Sometimes you can get it in one good hit, but we're not cutting into the nostril cavity at all. We're cutting around it so that we can save all the nose skin as well, because that's tough as well. Being very careful not to cut anywhere where there's hair. And these March flies are really getting into me.
They bite hard too, don't they? So what's the rule of taxidermy? If you can see hair follicles, stop and go closer to the bone.
But always think what you're doing. If you're not quite sure, just stop and take a good look where you are. There we are. There we go.
Look at that, cape's off.
There's it go, the cape's off. I'll just show you quickly. So we have the cape off. We've got the nose. See, we haven't cut into the nostril holes at all. They've all got to be split. You split the cartilage down, remove every bit of cartilage. There's the lip skin. We've got. If there's any fat or meat left on them, you can't tan the skin. It'll just lose it. So you've got to cut a bit of the. That'll be peeled back. Half an inch of lip skin.
Yep.
So remove that. Then we've got to remove the meat off the ear butts and then turn the ears, the eyes, nose and lips, if you can see there. But that's basically removing a cape, and from there you could actually put that in the freezer straight away and take it to the taxidermist, or if you're out in the bush, we've got to split the lips, nose, eyes and ears, and give it a good salt, so the salt gets in there to hold the skin, so we don't get skin slip until we get back to as long as the skin's cool. You can put that in, double bag it so you don't get freezer burn, and take it to your taxidermist and he can do the rest. But a little short thing on caping, like we've got 3 knives here. I've been using 3 different knives. This is a little Cody caper designed for caping. It's actually good, you can get right in there, you can hold it up close, nice and sharp and a very good point. Use that one. Well, we've got this a small pocket knife, you can use that. You don't need a big knife. This one is a Gorilla small caping knife. Well, it's not really designed for caping, it's just a little pocket knife. Well, I've got what I usually use is a paring knife made by Victorinox, and I use these all the time for taxidermy.
You've used those for years, haven't you?
Yeah, I've used them for years, and a diamond steel just to keep them sharp. And you don't need a big knife, and that's a fine point is better for getting in to the smaller areas, and you can get your hand up close. If you have to, just be careful not to cut yourself.